So hearing God's voice for me has been a matter of quietening myself down and spending that time every morning and putting that time aside and being very intentional and just quietening down. And then I just say, and I write in my journal, Papa, Lord Jesus, Holy Spirit, what would you like to say to me today? Now, I could start off going blah, 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 blah with all sorts of stuff, but he already knows it. He already knows everything in my heart. He knows me so, so well. So, but I don't know what's on Father God's heart. So I start off with that saying like, Lord, what do you want to say to me today? And then from that moment onwards is when I will get a picture in my head, or I'll think of something that's, not to do with the normal day. Something will come to mind, or I'll get a song in my heart, or I'll get something that is just like, it's like a tissue box. Like I've got a tissue box here. You'll just see a little bit of a tissue poking up. You'll just see a weeny bit of a whisper from him, and you just grab it and pull it out. And it's only when you pull that one out, does another one appear, another of what he says. So what I always do is I write down, I get my journal, and it can be just a big exercise book, it could be a fancy book, it could be anything at all, and I just start writing what he says. So it might be a song, so if it's a song, I'll write that down, and then I'll actually, if I'm not sensing anything more from him, I will then have a look at that song online and look at the lyrics. And I'll look at the lyrics and read them over, and I'll go, oh, usually there's something in it. Now, the song doesn't even have to be a Christian song. It can be any song at all. And he's singing this song usually over me. And I'm usually in tears about this because the words of the song are just so beautiful. They're for my heart. And he just wants to speak to us. And he wants to speak to us in the most loving language out. That blows me away every time. It's just so beautiful. So again, being intentional, quietening our hearts, asking Father God, what do you say about this? And if you're unsure about hearing God's voice, that's okay, because I didn't know I could hear God's voice until about 8 years ago. And I've been a Christian for 34 years. So, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I've been hearing him, but I didn't really know I could hear his voice. It's weird. But so I took this course online that I saw on TV about how to hear God's voice. And he was showing us just to quieten yourself down. Imagine yourself walking, just say somewhere beautiful with Jesus. And what's he saying to you? And write everything down that he's telling you. Don't try to judge what you're saying or think, oh my goodness, this is just coming from me, or it could be something else talking to me or whatever. Don't do that. Just go in and write down what he's saying. And after a bit, I had paragraph after paragraph, page after page of things that God was telling me. And it was just like, oh, wow. My first one was I imagined myself beside the Sea of Galilee with Jesus. He was walking there, and just the whispers over his heart that he was saying to me. So I wrote those down. And then what they say is once you've finished writing, go read back through it and then have a look and say, is there anything there that doesn't line up with God's word? Just cross those lines out. Again, don't be harsh on yourself at all. God's not. And then if there's anything there that sounds harsh, just cross those ones out too, because he's not. That's often ourselves saying, I don't know, if you've been in harsh environments in your life, that's your own self-talk. So the more we hear God's voice and the gentleness and the loveliness of what he's saying, the more our language and the way we think just lines up with him all the time. So one of the main things is that people say, well, how do you know God's voice? And to me, it's like if you were a kid going to the park and your mum and dad took you there, or your dad took you there, and then he's calling out, he's saying, Lynn, come over here now, we're going. And I'd look, and I would know the sound of my father's voice, and I'd know the tone of his voice too. So if I heard someone going, hey, Lynn, get your big butt over here now, and I heard something like that, I'd go, ooh, there's a little Lynn in this park here, and their dad's talking to them terribly. My dad doesn't talk to me like that. So I would know the difference. So it's about what he says, the tone of it, and the only way you get used to hearing someone's voice or knowing their voice is by continually hearing their voice. So as we're little children, we hear our parents' voice, and then when we hear like Lynn, oh little Lynn, or whatever like that, I would know that's my mummy's voice because I've heard it again and again and again. So that's what we need to do, is to get used to hearing our Father's voice, and let him, his delightful voice, pour out over us all the time. And as we do that, we just get filled up. I mean, I know that's what's happened to me, and I've seen that with other people as well. And we need to hear his voice. So I'm just going to check some comments here to see. I'm not actually seeing the comments on this bit, but that's all right. Okay, so that's the main thing, is getting used to hearing your Father's voice. Now, he can speak to you in a like a whisper, just it's a quiet voice. It's just a knowing. Or I see pictures. I've seen pictures from the day I became a Christian. Or it could be, like I said, a song, or it could be all sorts of different things. But what we're doing is leaning into God and starting to take notice of what he's saying, and then writing it down. So our first activation is going to be asking God for a flower. Now, I've done that with lots of people before, but it's a nice, easy one and seems to work. If some people have already downloaded the workbook, you'll see that there's a page in there that takes you through the steps of it. And this is a step I took with my granddaughter when she was 14 years of age. And I said to her, ask God for a flower. And she said, oh, it's a rose. And I said, what colour is it? She said, it's red. And she's never done this before. And she said, she just knew it's red. And I said, well, ask God more things about it. I said, what does it mean? And she said, that he loves me. And I said, is there anything else around your rose? And she said, yeah, there's actually 3 roses, and it's wrapped in white paper, and it's got a Hessian bow. She was getting very particular now. So again, this is like these extra tissues that come out. It's the more. So I think often that what we do is that we talk to God and we're going blah, 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 and we're expecting something from him, and that's it. But what we're doing this time is we're asking God something, and we're not stopping there. We're asking for the next tissue and the next bit and the next bit. We keep asking God questions, and he's in this beautiful conversation with us. And because he wants to be, he's your dad. He loves you, and he wants to be in a conversation with you, and he's always ready to talk. So after I said to Eva, my granddaughter, and I said, what does that mean? You know, and then she had all sorts of meanings for the paper and the 3 and the Hessian ribbon, and she was able to articulate that quite well. And I said, how is this for you afterwards? And she said, she didn't know that she could get to know God like this on a personal basis. So that's what I'm inviting to you into now. So if everybody could get a pencil, a piece of paper, and it can be lined paper or blank paper, and I'll show you the process as we go through this, because this is the one that I want you to practice over this next fortnight, and then to take a photo of the pictures that you've created. It could be just sketches, line drawings, it doesn't matter. It's not about the drawing at this stage. It's just about communicating with God, hearing his voice, and getting into that beautiful habit of hearing his gorgeous voice for you. So, okay, so I want you to quieten yourself. You might want to put on some music, and then say, Father, what flower have you got for me? And the first thing that comes to mind, I want you just to write down what flower it is. If you're not getting a flower, which has happened to some people, what's just the flower you're thinking of? Because sometimes that's what just comes in with a think. So write that down, and now, what colour is it? Now, I did this with a group in Brizzy, and immediately they just went to, I love red. It's a red hibiscus or whatever. And I said, no, ask God what colour is it, because he might have a totally different colour for you that's got an absolutely special meaning. And for 2 of the girls that did this, they were wowed by what God showed them, and it wasn't what they thought. So ask God now, what colour is the flower? And you may not be sure about it, and that's absolutely okay. Just what you think. This is all practice, good practice. Bit by bit, we'll get it. Now you can have a look in the spirit or in yourself and just or your knowing. How many petals has it got? If it's like a daisy. Is it on a stem? Is it in a bunch? What's happening around it? Has it got leaves? Is it bent over? Has it only got some petals on it? Is it in a garden? So have a look and just what else do you know about it? And then draw or write that around it as well on your piece of paper. So now you'll need to be asking God, what does that mean? And this is often where our heart is really involved, because he's showing us personal, intimate things about us. I'd love you to post maybe some of the things on there that God is highlighting to you. So give you time for that. Susan was saying, he just said to draw a lily, and I asked what colour, and he said amber. Cool. So then ask God, what colour is amber? What does the colour amber mean? You may know instinctively, but you might also just need to listen. Also, jacaranda tree flowers is what she's been getting. Great. Why jacarandas? Where is this jacaranda? Is it in a pot? Is it in a big tree, flowering tree? These other questions that I ask God are the things that make everything rich and beautiful. And I think this is the point where not everybody, a lot of people stop asking and don't stay in that place with God. So Elle's saying a jacaranda tree is a big flowering tree. Yeah. Why did he show you a big flowering tree, Elle? And big, it's got a pink rose with jagged edges, quite spiky leaves. And Amy's got a white rose. Good one. Again, when you've got spiky leaves and jagged edges, God's asking God, what does that mean? And your immediate response could be, something's pretty, I don't know, like jagged in me, or I'm a bit prickly and that. But don't stop there, because often it's something different. Because remember, God only speaks in kind, loving, tender things to you. And Gail says blue hydrangeas, mauve and purple with yellow centre, moving in and out, vibrant and speaking. And Claire says droopy green black lupin in a vase, lacking nutrients and food. And again, when you see that word lacking, don't think that that's something poor about yourself. Ask God, what does that really mean? And he will show you that more. He's just so faithful. Birgit said he's putting protection around me. That's the spiky leaves. Thanks, Birgit. Yeah. He's so good. He will protect you. Yeah. These are great comments. recently just did a card for someone, and God showed me a banksia and those pokey, really spiky leaves around it, and I thought, oh gee. And but it was that she's often in a prickly environment, but she's the center, and she holds like a torch to other people, and it was just beautiful. So I had to go for the more with God. I had to say, what does that mean, and really sit with God to find out that. And when I was, it really paid off because he showed me. And then when I gave the card to someone and I explained to her about it, she just started crying, and she wasn't a Christian, and not that I know of. And she just cried, and she said, oh, wow, God really revealed. I said, this is from God to you directly. I'm just the painter. And Claire's saying, in the physical, my body is struggling at present. So Claire, your one before was droopy green black lupin in a vase lacking nutrients and food. Okay. So what's he saying about that? Again, we can't end there. We've always got to end on the note of what God is saying. In Revelations, that even when God wanted to speak to his church about and address things, what he did was he said, this is what I love about you. And then he sandwiched it with, but this is what I have against you. And then he said, and if you do this, then this is going to be the amazing outcome. So God didn't even, when he pulled the churches up then, he didn't even do it to just slam them. He did them so that they would have a great outcome. So it was beautiful in what he did, if we can look at it in that light. And that's how we give feedback as school teachers. I'm a visual arts school teacher as well. So Claire's saying gluten poisoning, I think that means. So that might mean he's saying, what's he saying there with you about the gluten? And Claire's saying, a fence of protection around me. God says, trust me. So Roberta said, I got a daisy and they are yellow. So while you're doing this too, sometimes you'll get so much information, download from God, and then I might just start drawing it, and as I'm drawing, and it could be just really basic kids drawing, it doesn't matter about that, then all of a sudden I'll just know the more things that I need to put. Think, what's around it? What does that mean? Or I'll look up a Bible verse and say, Lord, is there some Bible verses on this if it's about protection, like Claire had then, or fence of protection, where I'll just type into Google fence of protection in the Bible, and pick up your favorite translation, and then bring that up and go through those Bible verses and see which one speaks to your spirit. And then I write them down, and there's usually a few, and then it's like, oh my goodness, Lord, you are saying so much. And this is when we're diving deeper into God's word and what he's saying, when we're matching this all up together and going on a treasure hunt, which is we stay in awe and wonder. It says, mine was a sunflower. Sorry, I thought it would be a yellow, but I got the colour pink. That's all right, just keep going. If you feel like you're not sure, like I said, those two ladies thought they had this colour, and then when they really asked and went a bit more, they got a different colour, and one got a two-tone as she was painting it. So Suzanne says, the amber lily is the get ready. I wanted to paint a day lily. It's a tiger lily. I put the tiger in the tank. Hey, God's funny too. I love it. And he is funny. I think this is the thing, he's just so personal. And he will speak in our language where he'll, like I was on at the Olgas at Ayers Rock out there, and I was having a bit of a hard time with a friend I went out there with, and something just happened, and going, I'm in the most amazing place in the world, and I'm having this going through my head. And I thought, Lord, help me. And then I hear him saying, look at my, like Kath and Kim. And I just burst out laughing. I cracked it. And that broke this thing that was over me at the time. And from then onwards, I find, and I shared it with my friend, and she just thought, well, you're weird. But that's all right. But for me, it just broke it. I was fine. So God's got a really good sense of humor, and he will speak in our language. So Vicky's I got orange petunias, not a colour or a flower. I will choose something different. Yeah. So when we get something different, it's really interesting. So what is on it, Lord? Yeah. Claire also says, is 41:10. What is 41:10? Is that a Bible verse? Sounds like it. Gail says, my blue hydrangeas that were moving forward and back, I feel God is saying conversation. And the yellow center, I got the word harmony. So moving backwards and forwards, and he's saying to have a conversation. Yeah. You know, I think so much our conversation's just been, you know, blah, blah, blah. But God is wanting this. And probably most of my conversations with God now is I just let him talk to me and let him speak over my heart and my life, and let him change me. Yeah. And he knows the right things to say at the right time. Claire says that was in Isaiah 41:10. What's that? Let's see what Isaiah 41:10 is. So usually I'm working with my phone, I'm working with my paints, I'm working with pencils, I'm working with a book, I'm journaling. This is really awe and wonder, seriously. It's a treasure hunting, finding all these amazing things that God's got for us. So Isaiah 41:10. I love the Passion Translation, as you probably found out. Everybody has got their own versions that they love. It's a song of praise, it says, for Isaiah 41:10. Sing to the Lord a new song, his praise from the ends of the earth. You who go down to the sea and all that is in it, you islands and all who live in them. That was, sorry, in the NIV. I'm not sure what he's saying. This is L, as I just got home from work, so I haven't really had much time to be still and unwind. Yeah, that's fine. So when you're feeling like that, L, it's just take what you can do here, what we're doing now. You'll glean from that all the time, and then see what everybody else is getting and get the idea around it if this is something new for you. .10 says, let's try that one again. Do not yield to fear, for I am always near. Never turn your gaze from me, for I am your faithful God. I will infuse you with my strength and help you in every situation. I will hold you firmly with my victorious right hand. And there's notes beside that one there. And it says, or don't be frightened. The Hebrew root word Shah means to gaze, to look around. I will hold you firmly in my righteous right hand. It's beautiful. Such a beautiful promise, that one. Yeah. Susie said, fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you. Yeah. I also put on the page there that if anyone wants to download the book, which has got all the information on it, it's got the activation for doing like a flower. It's got the step by step. So if any of you are in groups or like to start a group or a home group or you've got your kids, your grandchildren, anyone where you'd like to take them through this step by step, you can download that book. So I've got it there for, I think if most of you have read that I said, God, how do you want me to do this new ministry thing that I've got? And I just had the word glean. And I had been reading Ruth, and then Ruth and Naomi came back poor, absolutely downtrodden from husband and sons dying, and they came back to their home. And so Ruth was sent out into the fields to glean. Now, the word glean, for some people who don't know, is that it's actually, in some countries, farmers have got to glean. So what they do is they are to harvest all the crop, but around the edges of the farm, they leave, just say, some barley fully grown, or wheat, or whatever it is, or apples on the tree on the edges. And that's for the poor to be able to help themselves to free of charge. They won't get into trouble. Or it's for the widows and orphans. And that's what it says that it's for. And I said, oh, Lord, God really touched my heart when he said this, because years ago, I was in a really destitute situation. I had to leave my family home, and the only home, there was no homes like at the moment on the Sunshine Coast. Anyone in domestic violence here who has to leave, there's nothing around. So I left and into a house that was about to be demolished, broken windows and mice on the floor and horrible things like that. And I had no money. So yeah, someone bought me a washing machine. You know, it was just absolutely beautiful. And I had children. So it's something that it does happen. And we had our own home. We had money but no cash. That was for me to use. So I get this. And so God has said to glean. So the gleaning there is for anyone who feels that this is for them to glean. Whatever is happening, glean away. I've allowed so many gleanings as such, and then the rest to be a crop that comes in. So I want to bless everyone and make sure everybody, I don't want to ever see anybody not allowed to access Christian material because they can't afford it. I just, something goes against my grain somehow. I think because of that. Or it could be a family who's got, mum's pregnant or mum's got babies and we're just relying on dad's income and got little children and low income, and we know all the other things in life that comes along, and it's absolutely great that we can, if we're blessed, we can be a blessing for other people, and the other people, help yourself. Okay, so let's keep going. Amy says, yes, have a group near Caboolture and Beachmere. Yeah, you was telling me that the other day. I'd love to come down and see what you do and glean off you. Because I think, like art to me needs to be done in collaboration, and that we get the more when we do that, and we all learn from one another and grow and champion each other on as well. So yes, by all means, use all the material for it. Just get everyone in your book, in your group, to either, if you want to do it in a group, to buy a book, or if they need to glean, that's okay too. And then use the material, yeah, and get them to take it to their families, grandchildren, children, whatever, yeah. Roberta says, the Lord showed me that daisies grow everywhere. They are bright and hardy. As a girl, I made chains of them. Sometimes they got trodden on. I feel bright and want to make others happy, but at times I feel downtrodden. Yeah. So when you get something there, Roberta, like I feel downtrodden, ask God again that, because you never want to leave something with a bit of a, so ask God, what about that? Yeah, and ask him to breathe. What are you saying about that, Lord? And just see what else he says, because he'll always have something for your heart. Angeline High says, I love the gleaning option, a beautiful grace moment. Yeah, isn't God good? you know, like, I mean, I just receive and pass it on. I mean, that's the whole thing of prophetic art. And this is prophetic as well, you know, like he said to glean. So glean we shall. And he's blessed me in the process because I didn't know how to do it. Yeah. Um, Thanks, Amy. Yes, I will visit. We might even see if some of our group can come down. What day do you meet on, Amy? Our group up here meets on a Thursday from 10 to 2. But, you know. So how's everybody going? I've got here my live stream is experiencing connection issues. Try troubleshooting your internet connection or reboot your router. Is that true? Is anyone having trouble? Is it glitching or anything? I can't see it from this point though. I'll just say dismiss. So if you feel like you've got enough on this, so I then take it to the drawing and the painting stage. So what that looks like for me is, just say if I've got a daisy, I will then get on my phone and what we're going to be doing is working in watercolors. So does it? Okay. I don't know why. I might put my phone near the window and see if I get better reception. Or I might have to start getting broadband again. If I just say got a daisy and I want to draw a daisy really well, either if I've got a daisy in the garden that's nearby, it's great to work from real life. Or the other thing is I'll do is on my phone, I will look in there and say watercolor daisy and get a picture up of a similar one that I saw that I know that God is showing me. And then from there, I will start drawing it out. Now, artists' work, like I think some people said, oh, can you really do that? And I'm going, yeah. Artists work best from an object to copy it, a photo or real life. Okay, so I'm telling you, I'm an artist. I've been an art teacher. This is how you do it. Well, I do it, and lots of other artists do it too. So find an image. I'm not asking you to paint somebody else's painting exactly as you see it. However, if you do that, that is still okay if it's for education. But what you need to do on that piece of paper, if you've copied somebody else's work, you need to give an attribution to that artist. Say, this is a copy of Amy's, artwork, Amy so-and-so's artwork. And so if anybody found that piece of paper, they would know with that drawing on it or painting, they would know that you're not the artist, this is actually the artist. But it was done for education purposes, and that's absolutely fine. So have a look and find a nice image. You might want to also have a look on online for watercolor daisies of all types and see different backgrounds, different leaves, different things, and that will give you some ideas. Otherwise, you just don't know where to start. It's all a bit crazy. Let's have a look over here. Ella says, well, the jacaranda tree is a tree at my primary school, and remember from my childhood, I remember playing with lady beetles and looking up at the tree in the distance and remember seeing Jesus and his disciples, people from the Bible. Let's see, it says see more. I didn't really understand it, but I knew as a child it was something to do with Jesus. Cool. He's taking you back to some really precious time with him. Yeah, I'd find out a bit more about that or stay in that place with him. Yeah, Jesus, what else do you want to show me? And the fact that you're playing with lady beetles and looking up at the trees and you're a child. And remember, this is awe and wonder. Children look at bees and beetles and that, and they, they'll come in with one on their hand and look at this, Mum, and they get excited over the little things. And God wants to bring us back to that place of awe and wonder of where we just get excited over stuff again. And we've got to come to him as a little child. That's beautiful. So Amy said we have a small group weekly Wednesday at 12:15 to 3:15, and another group first Saturday of the month 1 to 4. Wow, that's great. Yeah. Oh well, I can see if I can pop down there and see if anybody from our group also wants to pop down, if that's okay with you too. Yeah, we'll arrange it. So they're the things of drawing. Now the watercolor materials that we'll be using is, I'm going to start showing you now some materials. Now there's a materials list in the book, and I've also got some illustrations of the book of the materials that I get that are cheap, that are great for group use. I use them all the time. So I've got really high quality, expensive watercolor materials I don't use. I use these ones. These are brilliant. So I've got what the GSM is, the weight of a paper, like the paper watercolor. That one there, I think it's about a 220 GSM. You'll see marked on a book. It might have 180 GSM. That means the thickness of the paper. So watercolor paper, because it's absorbing water, it needs to be thick so it doesn't bubble and warp. But 300 GSM is one if I'm using a great big sheet of watercolor paper and lots of water, and it might even bubble a little bit, but not much. It will flatten out. So watercolor paper is, that GSM is the thing that you need to look for. I also use just a thick card, and or a thicker card, about a 180 GSM, and for card making, and that works really well as well. So I get them from Kmart. I'll just grab a pack. Most of my stuff comes from Kmart. So using in groups, that's a Kmart box of them. They also come in a smaller pack. That's 50 cards and 50 envelopes. So they just come with little cards like that. And again, it's just a card, but it works really well. Like these ones here are artworks I've done on these cards, so they turn out beautifully. You know, they absorb the paint really well. They have not warped, and yeah, they worked really well. So even some of them have got lots of colour on it, and that way, yeah. So those cards work really well. They're cheap to use in a group and for yourself or multiple. They come with an envelope, so they're lovely. The other materials that I have is, there's this little watercolor. It's from Kmart. It comes in pastel colors or warm colors or things like that, and it's got two sides that you can put wet colors in it, and then it's got a row down there and a row down there. That row there I put in, and it has and then it comes with a water paintbrush as well. So I took these extra colors out of another one, and there's a big one like that, and it's great. So if you see this one that's black like that, it's got a little hooky thing on the back. They're beautiful colors to use. So the other, it comes in the middle of those paint set. It comes with a water paintbrush, and what they do is they've got a reverse thread on here that you unscrew. You put it under the tap and dribble water into it, and then screw it back on. Always take your lid off and put it on the heel of it, so that if you lose it, you'll end up bending the brush. If you end up bending the brush too, what you do is, if you run it under boiling water or just dip it into boiling water, it will actually reshape the hairs on your brush too, and that sometimes happens. So these are ones that I use all the time, and I use that. A pencil with an eraser on the end, these cards, and then I've got some little books here. All right, I'll get the books. These books are brilliant from Kmart as well. Sorry, I thought I had them. I've moved them. Oh, there they are. Yeah. So there's one book. It's called a watercolor book from Kmart. They're about $5. They're really reasonably priced. materials and they're good quality. So they're all Anko brand, and so I use it for writing in, for all sorts of stuff in there. I'm not precious about my book. Remember, these books are yours. It might be notes, might be all I'm on a phone call, could be all sorts of stuff. And then there's nice artworks amongst it. So that's one book, and it's full of watercolour paper. This one here is another little book. Now, there's some that come very similar to this. So this one's like a tealy colour, and they're beautiful just thrown in your handbag. So, yeah, all sorts of things in there. Now, that I'll show you that one there. That's the book, that one there. It's a watercolour book. Now there's one, Kmart have got ones like this, but they're called sketchbook. But this is watercolour sketchbook. So make sure it's got watercolour on it. The sketchbook has got a thinner cartridge paper in it. And then they've got another one that's got other type of paper in it. But go for this tealy one and make sure it's got watercolour written on it. But they're brilliant. So what I do in my, this is what I carry with me. We were given these at an Aussie Sheila's weekend. They're lovely. So a little tiny pouch. I put my paints in. I throw in about 3 of these water brushes all filled up. A pencil. I usually have a few cards that I've already made in case I want to hand them out, and some spare cards, and I'll put them in. And then I have, instead of carrying tissues and that around, I've got a serviette, a whole pile of them that I never use. So I just fold that up, because then I put that underneath where I'm working. I can dab, I can wipe my brush on it, I can do everything. I fold that up and put that in there. And if you've got a black permanent ink pen, fine one for writing, now that's it. That throws in my handbag. It's light and easy. So that's what our group used to. Oh, Bigot's got a story on this one, haven't you, Bigot? That would say, bring all our stuff. So yeah, Bigot's lugging all this stuff to the park, and then she goes, and there's more in the boot. You know, so people have started with these great big kits of stuff, and now we're down to, you know, this, and this is all we really need when working with watercolours. Watercolour doesn't stain anything. It's you can wipe it off. You don't have to rinse your brush out straight away. So it's very, very easy, and it's perfect for children. So very soon I'm doing another prophetic art workshop with Kids Church. So again, it's so easy with the children. There's no mess. It's so easy clean up. So you've got to think of things like that with groups, and starting with something simple and reasonably priced. If you're doing that with your grandchildren, again, no mess. Most parents hate doing arty stuff with their kids because they're scared of the mess. So if we can make it less messy, the best it will be. Yeah. Let's see. So the art kit. This month I'm going to do just watercolours, so get practiced in using watercolours. Then next month is going to be using acrylic paint, and I'll show you what ones I use. And when it comes to acrylic paint, you don't need to go out and buy everything under the sun. I use 5 colours. That's it. You know, there's a cool red, blue, and yellow, a black and a white, and I'll show you how to mix stuff. Otherwise, again, you're buying so much stuff, you're carting so much stuff around, it's gone old and yuck by the time you need to use it. So don't go buying anything and wait till I show you, unless you might already have it. So again, kids paints also from Kmart. That's a real messy one my grandchildren were using, but those ones from Kmart are $5. They're brilliant. I used to use them for ages until I found the little set, and they are in the kids section. So all the others are in that the art section at Kmart. So they're brilliant. I use those. As you'll see, there's a photo in the workbook that I've the PDF there, and it's got a table set up for adults. And we did that when we were down at Bridgie South a while ago, and we just put those on water pots. Gave everybody one of those water paintbrushes, was nice and easy setup, and everyone loved it. Okay, I want to just share all my tips and tricks along the way of everything I know. I know that that's what everyone needs to know, and again, like, we can clean again off everybody instead of having to learn it the hard way. So I'm going to show you now some. First, any questions? So fire away if you've got some, and I'm going to show you now how to use a paintbrush, just to get some basic things. So these paintbrushes here are really lovely. Kmart's got a set for six of them for $5. Two of them have got a really broad flat brush end on it, and the other, two are broad, and the four of them are fine brushes like this, and they've got a bluey colour, so they're good as well. So this one I love because it's got a really fine point on the end, so you can get the beautiful marks that you need. But you can also use the thick part of the bristles there to get your thicker marks that you need. So, okay, I'm going to show you here. Now, watercolours normally I use flat, but so if it drips in that, that's why. So, one thing, a good way to do this is to you squeeze this, and you'll squeeze some water out and wet your paint a bit. I can't really put this up higher. Might tip that down a bit right there. Oh, I'll just hold it up higher. It's all right. Be better organised next time. Okay, so with my paint there, so you're going to put, might be easy to see, I'm going to put the tip down and push it down and pull it up. So that way you'll get that mark. So practice doing this. So look, point, press down and lift up. Point, press down and lift up. So there you can see a petal. Point, press down and lift up. These are like folk art brush strokes. But what it is giving you the ability to use different brushes. In the workbook as well, you'll see a whole variety of brushes that I've got in there and the different marks that they can make. So with the variety of brushes that you've got at home, I'd love you in this, this coming couple of weeks to be able to try it. You might have a whole page of just, say, one's doing this, and then another one could be point, wide, point, oops, wide, point, wide, and see the different brush strokes that you can get. So that's there. If you can see, that's when it's dried off a bit. It's a bit scratchy. So that's one, that's just one little brush of different marks you can get. Now I'm going to draw just say a flower on here, just really basic. And I'm going to use a technique now. What I've done there is called wet on dry. The surface is dry, but I put wet paint on it, so that's called wet on dry. And you get quite a defined line around everything. So what I'm going to do now is called wet on wet, which any of you have painted with watercolour would know. So with a clean brush, just wet. I'm glad that's coming out pink because you can see it. So wet all those petals. It'll probably run. So you can see anyway, you might see the gleam. So now, with wet paint, put that on it. And you'll see that it's soft. Soft edges, it'll run the colours will run into one another. And they're rather smushy. You can build layers up by just going lighter underneath while it's wet and building other layers around it. And where they join, there'll be a softness there. Now, to get colour off, get your brush really clean, and you can wipe it off, and that will come up whiter. So if you want to put like a light part back in, or with your tissue, if you've made a mistake or put too much on it, just dab it off, and that will give you those highlights back in it again, if you want to put a nice bright colour in the centre. So this is called wet on wet. Now, even with putting that orange in the middle there, it's smushing out nice and soft. It's not leaving those hard lines like that one is there. When you're working with colours of like this, you need to work harmoniously, and harmonious colours are colours that are side by side on the colour wheel. I'll grab a colour wheel. Should have got it out. Nope, I can't find it. Anyway, it's the colours of the rainbow. The colours that are side by side each other on the rainbow are the ones that will go together. Like it's got red, orange, yellow. They will all blend beautifully together. But if you've got colours that are too far apart, that's when you'll find your colours are going brown. So let's go with some green. So I've got a green here, again, and then yellow and blue make green. So you can make it lighter, you can add a blue to it and start making it darker. So if you have a look at nature, you'll see that everything is never one colour. It's always a variety of colours. So everything will look better. Even this little one that we've done down here, if I now start putting some orange in it. Now I can put that over while it's wet, and then that will give you a wet on wet effect, or you can put it on when it's dry and build up layers or glaze different layers over it. That makes things look much nicer. With these here, you can start putting in some other colours. So what we're doing is, when kids do this at school, they don't even think twice about, you know, am I getting it right or wrong, other than the perfectionists. Most kids will just go for it. So I think in this next couple of weeks, I want you just to go for it. And don't be afraid of putting stuff up if it looks childlike like that does, what I've got. But what I want you to do is to experiment with all your brushes. Like I've got, like there's even this brush I've got here. So if I put that in there, it's going to give me like some... you think, okay, well, where could I actually use that? I might be able to use that for grass or anyway, have a play with all your brushes and get a page just of making marks. So one thing that's really important is when we were at college, it was about mark making. So mark making is, yeah, I mean, your fingers, sponges, tools, anything at all can make marks. So what we're doing, instead of trying to be the perfectionist artist at this stage, we're making marks. We're trying to use tools. So these are all tools. These are tools. And get some lovely colours down as well. And so this one here is the one that we're going to do next week. And that's got, as you'll see, you can just see there's little leaves there. There's little flowers. It's a flower crown. So we're going to be asking God for a flower crown from him to you. And what flowers does he want in it, and why, and what fragrances, and what leaves and foliage, and what's he saying to you about this. So this is, they're really beautiful, doing flower crowns, and they're simple, and but the basis of it is this. Can you make a line Can you make a curve? Can you use your paintbrush? Have a look at some watercolor things online, and just try to copy at the moment and go, oh, actually I do all right with that, or if not, that's all right, just keep going. Everyone had to start somewhere, and you'll be celebrated and don't compare yourself to anyone. Seriously, I could compare myself to so many amazing artists out there and think that I'm just rubbish, but that's a stupid thing to do. I am where I'm at, and that's where I'm at, and so are you. So yeah, you're going to be just in competition with yourself, okay? So and we celebrate each other and the things that we're creating and changing, and hearing God's voice about it all. Let me see. Any questions? Melissa said, I got a daffodil. Yellow, spring, bright, sunny, joyful and new. The Lord is reminding me that I used to love them and brought one as a teenager and took it to a protest. He's reminding me of a love of justice, and also that they turn their faces towards the sun. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. Now make sure you write these down, what God is showing you, and because like have your journal full of it. Yeah, and write this, and then have that, maybe write these type of things on the back of your paintings or nearby. After you've created a painting, artists usually write an artist statement, and an artist statement is about the symbolism used, what it meant to you, and things like that. So yeah, that could be something just really easy. If you find it a bit difficult with putting your words together, that's okay. Jump onto ChatGPT and just say, put in all the stuff. Don't ever go to ChatGPT asking it for stuff. Go into it get your download from God first, and then get the microphone there and just speak everything that God's told you and said, now put this in a paragraph, and just watch it put it in a paragraph for you. That is, just say a short paragraph, concise one or something, and it will do that for you as well. And because this is not about being the English wizard, this is about being able to express yourself so other people can see what God has done in you. And ChatGPT actually helps you articulate what you're actually saying, because you've already got the download. But I can't stress enough, don't go to ChatGPT and get it to do your work for you. You go to God and get your download. That's when it is so exciting. Yeah. So I'll just have a look at my notes here to see if I've covered most things. In the book you'll find also I've got a page there that's like a little journal page, and you could copy that so many times, and you could use that. It's got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Bible verse, and you could just, it could be a little page that you use every single day, and as you spend that time with God, you can add pages to it. There's blank pages in it. There's lined pages with nice borders. Let me think. But every day set this time aside, and you'll be surprised as to how quickly you develop this. And then it's also that intimacy that you'll just start hearing the Father's heart, and you'll just know how loved you are. And this has been so important to me. I didn't know how adored I was from God, and now I know. I just know. I am gorgeous, but so are all you as well. We just have got to hear him say that over us. So if you ever stuck on that too, is reading Song of Songs in the Passion Translation, where he tells you that you're beautiful, that you're amazing, that, he's lovesick for us. He's for his bride. And it's beautiful to hear that. Some people have never heard those words spoken over them, which I never had. And so I found it a bit weird in the beginning, but now I just think I love it. So yeah, get used to it. I've done all that. Now my book, I think some of you already purchased this book. Thank you very much. That's my book that I've got advertised there too. It's The Brush of His Voice. I've only just finished writing it, and also releasing it. And it's available on one of the links there on the Facebook page. And it's my 8 years as a prophetic artist. And it's got 40 mini chapters in it. And then after each chapter, there is an art activation there as well on that page, on the green pages. And it's a coloured book, so it's got lots of over 40 coloured photos in it. So it's an expensive book to print and that, because it was they sell for about $39 because of the colour plates in it. But they've got lots of activations in it, and it's my life as a prophetic artist for the last 8 years, and all the ins and outs, all the different places God's taken me to, all the people he's healed, that he has just kept me in awe and wonder. I'm just totally just flabbergasted sometimes of the things he does with paint. So it's an adventure in groups on where I've had kids up and painting, where I've had all the different scenarios I've had over the last 8 years. He's taking me on a wild journey. It's been amazing. So yeah, so that one there's available, and you might see this other one too, but that's what we're that'll be released later on. We'll do that one, and that's Adored by the Father, and it's a little workbook with activities and journaling in it as well. So but that one's a later on one, but I've still got it on my website. So so your homework for the next 2 weeks is to, as you do these and create them, post them onto Prophetic Art Club, and with your little words beside it of what it means or what God has shown you, and then other people can comment as well, and then yeah, because it's really good seeing what everybody else gets from it. Especially, we're just talking about flowers at the moment, and there's so many other things that you can do as activations, as you'll see in the booklets, and that, especially that one there. There's so many activations, and there's 40 of them in it. That you can use in your groups and things like that. I think I said it all. Yeah, but practice up so that when we get to this one here, you're just going to go, got that, yeah. So some of you might be already amazing artists. Some of you would be totally beginning from scratch. Some of you are somewhere in between on the continuum, and some of you will be better than me, so it's all good. We just celebrate it all, okay? I think I've got it all. Just having a look around that I haven't missed something. So Big, it said, which book is the one you told us about first that we can use with others? The book that it's on Prophetic Art Club, down below, it's called Awe and Wonder. It's about 33 pages, and it's got this in it. It's got how to use a brush, all the different brushes, different brush strokes, different paper, art materials. It's got like all the beginnings of this, of the things to get started. So that's workbook number 1, and then I'll bring out the workbooks bit by bit as we go through it. So this is for watercolor and all the basics on it. And like I said, the next workbook will be about it with using acrylic paint. So does that answer that? Yeah. Now that's the one that if you strap for cash at the moment, just put in that that coupon thing saying Glean Blessing, and I've got that in the link anyway. And otherwise, or you can just download that for $10, and you could get it printed as well if you went to Officeworks with that, but it might be a bit expensive. I don't know. So yeah, I think we've done it. So thank you everybody for jumping on. This is a really big thing for me, and yeah, I've never done anything. It's taken me a lot to jump in and do this. So yeah, I just look forward to seeing God, your relationship with God growing. You're knowing his heart, you're hearing his voice, you're knowing how much you are adored, and that you're falling in love with him more and more and more. And that's what it's about. We're his bride, we're his bride, and we need to be, like, it would be something weird if we had a husband and it was like, whatever, we need to be waiting for him to come back. We're supposed to be the virgins with our lamps full of oil, and this is this intimacy that we're spending the time with him, talking with him, understanding his word more, going deep with him on a treasure hunt, staying in awe and wonder. This is the oil. This is the oil that we're getting, and this is how we need to stay until we meet him face to face. So yeah, that's my heart. That's my reason for doing this. And the art is just the tool that we use, and it's fun. So yeah. So thank you all for getting on and for stepping out and doing this. It's just wonderful that a lot of you have not even tried this before. So yeah, I just think, well done. That's amazing. So tell others to pop on, have a look at this will be a replay there, and I'm sure it will be a replay. Yeah, I think that's what it said. So that somebody else might be able to jump on if they missed out on it, and then people will be ready for the next time as well. Okay, so I want this to be the basics for everybody for the watercolor. Okay, well, thank you, Susanna. God bless me. Yeah, God bless everyone. Yeah, thank you so much, and have a lovely week. And I look forward to seeing all your amazing artworks and comments and the aha moments that you've had with God, where He's just delighted your soul. So yeah, okay. Love you all, and see you next time. Bye. We will send others to see and learn to. Yes, Amy, that'd be lovely. Yeah, all on the same page together. Yeah.